All right, everybody, good afternoon. This is the Fantasy Sports Boss. It is Fantasy Football Friday. A lot of big names to discuss in terms of the injury report. Chief among them, Austin Ekeler, listed as doubtful. This just came down about 15 minutes ago. Austin Ekeler, Los Angeles Chargers, irreplaceable running back, is listed as doubtful, unlikely to play against the Tennessee Titans. Joshua Kelly, of course, would be the backup. DeAndre Hopkins listed as questionable. Aaron Jones, Christian Watson also listed as questionable. So we got a slew of big-name players who already are facing the possibility of not suiting up Sunday, Fantasy Football Week 2, which got off to a robust start last night. Minnesota, Philadelphia. I discussed that game at length in an earlier video that I posted this morning. If you are a DeAndre Swift owner and you get a decent offer for him, I would definitely take it. I don't think Kenneth Gainwell is going away. While I do think that DeAndre Swift has now at least earned a half the workload, I think now is the perfect opportunity to sell high on him. Going to go over my picks for the week today. Had the Vikings plus 6.5 as a lean last night, so I was able to hit that. Hopefully you guys bet that one. And of course, whatever questions you have in the chat, we'll go over. But wanted to start with Austin Ekeler. So listen, this is the fact that he's already missing a game. And when you're listed as doubtful, you're pretty much 90% going to sit out. The fact that he's already looking like he's going to miss a game is no surprise to me. When you take into account, and I talked about this all summer, again, which is why I was not actively looking to draft either him or Christian McCaffrey. 28 years old, smallish frame, massive workload the last 2 years, both running and receiving the ball, and even openly asking the team to find somebody to, in the draft or, through free agency to take some of the load off of him. So, and while I would say trade him, Polumsky, not for Najee Harris. You know where I stand on Najee Harris. But getting back to Ekeler, listen, I think wear and tear is going to be a problem all season for him. I'm not surprised he's already hurt. You heard rumors it's a high ankle sprain. The team has really not shed a lot of details on that. But Joshua Kelly is going to step up now to take on the Titans. Now, we talked yesterday during the stream about how the Titans are very, very – they're one of the toughest teams in the NFL defensively at stopping the run. So the way that you're going to beat the Tennessee Titans, which we saw last week, is to beat them through the air. And so that's why – Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are both to the moon guys, which I talked about yesterday. And really it's a shame that Ekeler's not playing too, because he could have been a big weapon out of the backfield catching the football. Now, Joshua Kelly, I think he's more of a flex this week. I don't think he's a running back too, even though he's going to get a lot of work, a lot of touches. But, again, this is a really tough Tennessee Titans defense, and the way to beat them is through the air. Just like last night, the way to beat the Minnesota Vikings is on the ground, which the Eagles did, giving, 28 carries to DeAndre Swift. And listen, if you're a DeAndre Swift owner, that is the last thing you want to see. Yes, the yardage was awesome, but all of those carries on a guy who can never stay healthy, that's scary. So, that wasn't ideal to see that right out of the gate in his first start of the season. But no doubt, it is a reminder of how good a player DeAndre Swift is. I don't think there's any question. Nobody doubts his ability as both a runner and a receiver. And that's why he was a late first round, early second round pick in the majority of PPR leagues last season. So, and here's the other thing. So he caught 3 passes, talking about DeAndre Swift, because now we've transitioned to DeAndre Swift already. This is another theme that I've echoed all summer. Mobile quarterbacks, not only do they siphon touchdowns around the goal line, which we saw with Hurts really stealing 2 potential scores from DeAndre Swift with the push play on the goal line, but these quarterbacks don't throw to their running backs. Now, DeAndre Swift, when he was with Jared Goff, caught 1 million passes. He had a ton of targets every week he was out there, when he was out there. But with the Eagles, with a mobile quarterback, you're not going to get that. That's why no running back who's ever played with Lamar Jackson was even a moderately decent receiver in terms of numbers, in terms of raw numbers. Even the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen, not a lot of receptions coming out of those Buffalo running backs. So, this is something that if you're a DeAndre Swift owner, it's very workload dependent. He's going to need all those touches. He's going to need all those carries and yards to salvage his fantasy day, because unlike his Detroit days, he can't offset any, moderate production wise on the ground with 4 or 5 receptions in the passing game, because that's just not part of this offense. And the Eagles offense really, it's not firing on all cylinders. Jalen Hurts is not playing well. A.J. Brown was pissed off yesterday. And listen, as an A.J. Brown owner, to have one of his touchdowns wiped away because of stupid-ass Rashad Penny, who shouldn't even be playing, a holding call, that was ridiculous. And again, when you see all the points that the Eagles scored, 34 points, and, A.J. Brown can't even clear 30 yards receiving. Very, very disappointing start to the season for him. And he was vocal about it on the sidelines and meeting with the media afterwards. Tony wants to know, pick one: Pacheco, Elijah Mitchell, London, Allen Robinson. Pacheco, very, very high scoring game. So it's all hands on deck in that Jaguars Kansas City Chiefs game. So again, DeAndre Swift, his value is never going to be higher than it is right now. So if you're a DeAndre Swift owner and you get a decent offer, or if you offer him around the league, this is the time to do it. Talk up this outing, because again, when Kenneth Gainwell comes back, the coach loves him. Talking about Kenneth Gainwell, Gainwell's going to play. It's probably going to be a 50-50 split. Now we can pretty much eliminate Rashad Penny. Now that's done. Boston Scott had injury last night. He actually played well too when he was on the field, but he's really just going to be a bit player as well. So, no issues there in terms of those two guys being the top targets. Backs. All right, so DeAndre Hopkins officially listed as questionable. He did not practice the entire week, and here's another 30-plus-year-old receiver who's dealing with injuries. I don't think he's going to play. Treylon Burks, obviously he's going to step up, but I think Chig Okonkwo, I would have interest in him if Hopkins were to be out. Listen, Ryan Tannehill is really one bad game away from, rumors about Malik Willis or Will Levis. I don't think Will Levis is ready, but he was so bad last week with 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, missing guys wide open. I don't know if he's washed, but, he's an aging veteran quarterback. He doesn't run anymore. So that's the other thing, too. With Tannehill, defenses don't have to account for him running anymore, because he's lost that part of his game as he's aged. So now they can just really collapse the pocket, and they're making life very difficult for him. This is potentially an ugly situation developing for Tannehill. But I think Chig Okonkwo would be the play over Treylon Burks if Hopkins sits out, and I think he will. Even if he plays, it might be on a snap count. And again, 30-plus-year-old receiver, not what you want to see already with injuries. Raheem Mostert off the injury report. It was a maintenance issue on Wednesday when he missed practice. He's good to go for the Miami Dolphins. We talked about Austin Eckler already. All right. James Conner does not carry an injury designation. So James Conner, who was dealing with a calf injury earlier in the week, and he's always a member of the injury report. It seems like every week. Talking about James Conner, the next injury is always right around the corner, but he never comes off the field. So if you're a James Conner owner like I am in one league, he's going to get 3 to 4 dump off passes. He's going to get almost every carry. Joshua Dobbs, our quarterback, certainly doesn't help take the pressure off as this team is totally tanking. But on workload alone, Conner still is a strong running back too. Did I make the wrong choice by drafting Davante Adams at 10, second year playing? And I'm unsure. Alex, I did say to fade him. I don't like aging receivers, as we've already talked about. I don't like Jimmy Garoppolo. The deep play, his game does not jive with Davante Adams. Now, they have an opportunity to rebound both of them this week, because Jacoby Myers is not going to clear concussion protocol off of his really impressive week 1. And that's the thing, too. And that's what's disturbing if you're a Davante Adams owner. So Jimmy Garoppolo loves that short to intermediate game, and that's where Jacoby Myers does his best work. And we saw with all those catches Myers had in that game last week, beating Denver. His game lines up much better with Jimmy Garoppolo than Davante Adams does. And here's the thing. I'm going to call this right now. Aaron Rodgers has said he's coming back next year. I totally believe that the New York Jets are going to swing a trade for Davante Adams this offseason. You can almost count on it, all right? Adams is already unhappy. This is a rebuilding Raiders team. The Jets, if Rodgers is coming back, and he says he is for one more year, this is when you push all your chips to the table. This is when you bring in Davante Adams, who I think only has one more year left on his contract after this season. You think the Eagles running back production will continue? Yes, I think they will. I think they could be fine. It's a really good offensive line. Hey, Death Lord, how are you? James Conner's healthy. Will play Sunday. Any updates on Mark Andrews? Aaron Jones and Andrews are both questionable. Andrews is going to play. So CJ Stroud has been listed on the Texans injury report as questionable. So that's interesting if you're a Nico Collins owner. If Davis Mills starts, you bench Nico Collins. All right. There's my dog in the background. I don't know if anybody just caught that in the mirror there in the window. You certainly bench Nico Collins. All right. Because, so that's new. I haven't seen anything with CJ Stroud on the injury report. So that's new. I have an offer to receive Walker for Swift. Oh, definitely. I would absolutely do that. I just swung a trade for Walker myself. I traded Rachaad White and Tua Tagovailoa to the Aaron Rodgers owner in my league for Kenneth Walker. Now, I'm not the biggest Walker fan, but I just wanted out of Rachaad White, and Tua is my backup. And I was capitalizing on his first game, and I was really talking up that offense. So the trade was made. And yes, I would do that deal, Polumsky. I also have Jacoby Myers always thinking between Mike Williams as a flex. And Mike Williams, I think, is going to be fine. So he's your flex this week because Myers is not going to play. If Kelly's a flex, would you start him over Flowers? I don't think so because it's a tough matchup. Chubb and Lamb for Kelsey and Algier. No, hold on to Chubb and Lamb. Absolutely not. Do not do that trade. If Samaje Perine could start play, if Aaron Jones gets ruled out, yeah, you definitely play Perine for sure. All right, let's go through the rest of the injury report. All right, J.C. Horn, we don't care. All right, Brandon Cooks, questionable. I don't think he did anything this week. So Brandon Cook's probably not going to play. Michael Gallup would step up then. You figure CeeDee Lamb's going to be on Sauce Gardner. And Sauce Gardner did not have the best opener. Now, I know he wasn't exclusively on Stephon Diggs when Diggs went, 10 for, what was it, 115. But he was on him enough, and it was kind of a difficult day for Sauce Gardner. Probably the first time I've seen him really struggle this season. Now he's going to get CeeDee Lamb this week. I think the Jets are going to hang tough in this game, but Dallas, I think is going to come out on top for sure. Kelly or Dillon, I would have to go Dillon. He's got the easier matchup. Algier or Pierce, I'm going to go Algier. Had Swift on the bench last night because I was worried about a bust. You think it's worth having him? I think it's worth having him as a running back 3/flex. I'm not ready to anoint him a running back 2 yet. I want to see what transpires when Kenneth Gainwell comes back. And a lot of people had Swift on the bench, so don't feel bad about it, Brian. Who has a better game this weekend if you're betting man, Lockett or Debo? I would say Debo. He's certainly healthier. Kendry Miller remained practice. Juwan Johnson upgraded to full if you have Jack Johnson. Juwan Johnson. Zach Morris, all right, he's going to get the start. He was a full participant for the Colts. But again, you really don't want any of these Colts running backs. And still, Kareem Hunt hasn't signed with anybody. Deontay Johnson's going to miss this week, as we know. Pat Freiermuth was a full participant, so he's back for Pittsburgh. No issues there. Breece Hall is questionable. He should play. That's just a maintenance issue with him. Greg Zuerlein, the kicker, probably not going to play, so you're going to need a replacement there. Jacoby Myers is officially ruled out. I missed that before. So Jacoby Myers with the concussion is out. Aaron Jones, Christian Watson are questionable. I don't think Jones practiced. I think he did some stuff on the side. So there's a sliver of hope that Aaron Jones could play. I don't think Christian Watson is going to play at all. So Romeo Doubs, you fire him up again this week. Mark Andrews was a full participant, even though he's listed as questionable. The Rams are hoping Cooper Kupp comes back week 5. This is an ugly situation. I really, the fact that they sent Cooper Kupp to a specialist tells me that this hamstring injury is much more serious than they're letting on. And Puka Nacua is questionable, but they think he's going to play. But listen, after all the fab money that was spent on Puka Nacua, he better play, right? I mean, my God. Khalil Herbert, Ed, I'm not a huge fan of him, no. And Ruscon Johnson is already making a push for that job. Should I start Dotson or Algier in the flex? Algier. Interesting what you said about Davante Adams. I have him and Myers. Maybe it would be worth stacking one healthy. Listen, see what you can get, Brian, for Davante Adams, because I think there's still a decent enough market for him. What kicker you like this week? Graham Gano, I always like for sure. I have to admit, I don't play kickers in either one of my leagues, so I haven't been as big on the kickers as I normally would. The Miami kicker, he's certainly going to get a lot of opportunities. Can't believe I drafted Christian Watson over Debo. Hey, listen, I faded both of those guys, Brian. I didn't want any part of either one of them. I think Debo's a little bit more consistent, but Watson I don't like those nuclear 1 week, gutter next week guys who have no consistency. And that's what A.J. Brown has been too. I mean, like I said in the video this morning, it wasn't so bad last season, his first with the Phillies, the Eagles, but already this season we're seeing the wild swings of production that marked his Tennessee time period. Should I start Jason over Lockett? I don't think so. I think you still got to go Lockett. All right, so now, all right, that's what I want to do next, the picks. All right, let me pull up the betting lines for week 2. And I should have, I was feeling good about that Vikings. I should have made that an official pick. I should have actually bet it myself, but I didn't. But I definitely had leaned toward Minnesota, as I said yesterday. All right, so all right, so Buffalo Raiders, that's 8.5. All right, so the Bears and Buccaneers. The Bears are getting 2.5. I'm taking the Bears. I think it's a good play. I think the market's overreacting a little bit to Tampa Bay winning last week and Chicago losing. I think that the Bears were shocked. They were certainly demoralized. Their listless effort against the Packers last week. They're going to come back and play better this week. And I think you're getting a head start. You're getting 2.5 points. Against a Tampa Bay team that's still very flawed. We won with Tampa last week. I bet that last week. We won that one. But I'm going to fade them this week, and I'm going with the Bears plus 2.5. Should I start Moore or Flowers? I would go Flowers. Is Tyler Higbee worthy of a roster spot? I try to do better than that. He's giving me Rashad White and James Cook for Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson. Should I do that trade? I think I would do that trade. Deathlord. I'm not a Rashad White fan, but James Cook, I certainly am a big fan of him. Wide receivers, Amon-Ra. Yeah, I think you could do that. Oh, man, Johnny, that's rough. Yeah, Hockenson. Listen, I said this on the video this morning. Hockenson is the second best tight end in fantasy. I don't think there's any question about it. And here's the thing, too, with Jordan Addison. So Jordan Addison, he scored the first 2 games. I think you need to sell high on him right now. He still is the third target in this offense, and he's very touchdown, big play dependent. So we saw in week 1 and last night, he had the really, long distance touchdown catches that helped to really inflate his weekly performance, which the targets weren't great. So he's very big play touchdown dependent, sort of like Rashad Bateman was before he got hurt last season. So I would try to trade Jordan Addison now because he's still certainly locked in as a number 3 guy behind Justin Jefferson, TJ Hockenson. And as a Jefferson owner, my God, how stupid. He fumbles right at the goal line, although I do hate that rule. Should I do that trade, see if I can get something better than Rashad? You could try to get better than Rashad White, but I still think that's a good trade. All right, Seahawks Lions. I'm not loving that game. Chargers. All right, so the Chargers getting 2.5. I like that over Tennessee. All right, I think Tennessee is terrible. The Chargers match up really well in this matchup with Tennessee because of their strength at wide receiver, and that is how you beat Tennessee. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston, Joshua Palmer. They have the weapons, and they lost last week. So they're going to be a pissed-off team. A lot of skill on this team. They match up really, really good with the Titans. Give me the Chargers plus 2.5. All right. Colts, Texans. Not trusting that. I listen, I respect D'Amico Ryan, so be careful. If Davis Mills starts, be careful about Indianapolis. Even though Davis Mills sucks, just be careful with that one. All right. Should I trade Rashad White and DJ Moore for Pierce? That's a little much. I wouldn't do that. If Hopkins is out, do I start Burks or Zay Jones? I would start Zay Jones. A lot of points and yardage and receptions coming in that Titans, Jaguars and Chiefs game. James Cook, Monty Algier, or Dillon if Jones sits. They're all not bad options. If it's a PPR league, I probably would go James Cook. If it's a standard league, I might go Monty. I don't know if my 10-team family league, it's so unpredictable when it comes to drafting. He was on my list for in the first round. Yeah, I mean, listen, those family leagues can be very unpredictable for sure. All right, Packers, Falcons. I like the Falcons giving the 1.5. All right, again, to beat the Packers, you want to run the ball. All right, the Packers don't stop anybody in the run game, and the Falcons obviously are as good as it gets running the football. So I like the Falcons giving the 1.5. All right, so that's 3 picks, right? I need 2 more. Ravens, Bengals. I'm not that. That's a trap game for me. because of the hook, the 3.5. Jaguars, Chiefs, 51 is a high over-under. I was looking at the over-under on that one. 49ers, Rams, 8.5. Giants, Cardinals. All right, Jets, Cowboys. All right, let me come back to that one. I don't know if I want to make that one official yet. All right, Broncos, Commanders. All right, so Broncos, Commanders, I like the over 39. All right, so that one was jumping out at me. I think, with Jerry Jeudy coming back in the game, Commanders, obviously, both teams just okay defenses, solid wide receivers on the Commanders. Certainly Denver with welcoming back Jerry Jeudy. I like the over 39 on that one. So I need to give you guys one more, right? All right. What was the other one I was looking at? All right. And then last but not least, I like the Saints giving 3 to the Panthers. All right. So Saints giving 3 to the Panthers. I think the Panthers are really going to be bad this year. It's really going to get ugly. But I do like the Saints team. Certainly a divisional game. They're going to be ready. So give me the Saints -3. So the 5 picks this week, Saints giving 3 to the Panthers. I want the Saints. I want the over 39 Broncos, Commanders. I want the Falcons giving 1.5 to the Packers. I want the Chargers +2.5 against the Titans, and I want the Bears +2.5 against the Buccaneers. 3-2 last week. 4-2 if you count the lean with Kansas City, Detroit when I took Detroit. All right, Hunter Henry, Musgrave, or Higbee. I like Musgrave. I do like Musgrave in that one. Nico Collins have a huge game because Colts run a lot of cover 3. Death Lord, if CJ Stroud plays. If he doesn't, then I'm off of Nico Collins. PPR, thanks. Sean, yeah, ask me the question again. If I answered it, then great. If not, just post it again. Thoughts on Higgins this week? Listen, the weather was horrendous in that Browns-Bengals game. T. Higgins still got 8 targets. All right. Joe Burrow was rusty. There's no doubt about it. And Cleveland always plays the Bengals hard. I think the Bengals are going to smash this week. It's to the moon with T. Higgins. No issues for me. As a matter of fact, try to buy low now before that window closes because I think it's going to close after this week. With Dobbins down, I have Rashad White at running back 2. Should I keep him? Listen, he's set up for a much better game this week. He's got the right matchup. Against the Bears. I think it's a good matchup for Rashad White. Give it another week. If he struggles this week, then I think it's officially time to panic. You like Kelly over Khalil Herbert? Yes, because he's going to get more work. I'm not the biggest Khalil Herbert guy. I never have been. James Cook sounds good for flex. Have Bijan and Gibbs start. Yes, James Cook I think is a running back too. So if you put him in the flex, you're doing really well. Giants, David Ojulari confirmed out, or Colts with maybe Stroud out. Giants defense, they got a lot of big name players on that team, on that defense. I do like that defense. I still would stick with them. The Colts, they don't impress me defensively, so I would stick with the Giants. Which Jets player scores the most fantasy points this week? That's an interesting question. I'm still gonna say Breece Hall. I hesitated. I still want to say Breece Hall. We all know what Garrett Wilson is going to be a struggle. But I think Breece Hall is the guy that I would still stick with. Christian Watson for James Cook, 1-for-1, and I keep Dobbs. Should I do that? No, do that. I don't like Christian Watson, guys. I know he had that amazing run the second half of last year, but it was with Aaron Rodgers. So I'm not the biggest Christian Watson guy. All right, Chubb, Lamb, and Cooper for Kelsey and McCaffrey. Chubb, Lamb, Cooper. I might do that. Wow, you get McCaffrey and Kelsey? And Cooper Kupp is like a non-entity to me. So it's a fair offer. Man, that's as big of a trade as you can get. I think I might do that. Geno or Anthony Richardson? I would go Anthony Richardson. He was the top 5 guy right out of the gate last week, and he would have had even more points if he didn't get hurt. Darren Waller is fine. It's a maintenance thing with the hamstring. Same hamstring he injured last week. He's good to go. So no worries about Darren Waller. Jets going to be players. Scoring the most points for the Jets. It could be. Listen, Dak Prescott is turnover prone. Throws a lot of interceptions. So it would not surprise me in the least if Dak throws a couple of picks, takes some sacks. CeeDee Lamb may not have the biggest game. So all of that is on the table. And I almost took the Jets +9.5 just to hang close because, they have the running game. They have the defense. They have two of the three things they really do need to beat any opponent. It's just the fucking quarterback situation. I mean, it's just, they should have signed Jacoby Brissett. That was the guy, perfect guy to be the backup. He's probably the best backup in football, honestly. I mean, he can move the ball. He can move around in the pocket. That was the guy that they should have got. Hey, Cameron B, how are you? I'm good. Should I flex Drake London, Zay Jones, or Elijah Moore? Zay Jones. Because, again, the Chiefs, one of the worst defenses in the NFL stopping the pass. So, and with an over 50, it's going to be a lot of points there. Cowboys defense or 49ers defense? I like the 49ers. Always like the 49ers defense over anybody, except for maybe the Cowboys. But not this week, all right? Because I think the 49ers defense is in a better spot than the Cowboys. Because, listen, the Jets defense is going to keep them in the game and probably going to give the offense good field position. And you have two really good runners in Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall. I think the 49ers are really going to attack Matthew Stafford, who doesn't move well at all in the pocket. Zach Wilson could move. Matthew Stafford can't. So the sacks are going to be there for the 49ers. So I'm 49ers on that one. Speaking Cup, is it a full go Cooper Kupp Jr.? If he plays, it's not the easiest matchup, though. And again, it would not surprise me if he catches only 2 or 3 passes in this game and everybody curses all the fab money that they spent on him. All right. All right, guys. So I think I'm gonna end it here. Football Friday. We had a very long stream yesterday, so we kind of covered everything yesterday. So go back and watch that stream if you missed it. No stream tomorrow. I'm definitely gonna put out the weather video tomorrow and the handcuff running back streaming video tomorrow as well. So look for that. Also Sunday double stream. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Instant injury videos all day Sunday. So guys, enjoy your Friday night TGIF. I will chat with all of you tomorrow.